Hello everybody and welcome. In this video, we're going to learn how to install WSL2 on a Windows 10 operating system. We'll install Ubuntu 20.04 on top of that, and then install Docker for Windows, download a container, and test it all out. So let's begin. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to check to see whether or not we have the correct version of Windows. So from the Start menu, go ahead and open up a File Explorer. Right-click on this PC, click on Properties, and then if you scroll down just a little bit, you'll see that we're running 19043. In order to run WSL2, it's required that we have 1903 or higher. So we're doing okay here, and we're ready to continue. If you don't have 1903 or higher, then you'll have to upgrade your Windows system. We're now ready to install WSL2. If you do a normal internet search for how to install WSL2, this will be one of the links that you'll find. And you can follow along. However, the process is actually very simple now. We simply just have to type WSL-install from our Windows terminal. Bringing back up our Windows terminal app. However, when we start it, instead of just starting it normally, you're going to right-click on it, choose More, and choose Run as Administrator, because we need to have elevated privileges in order to install WSL. So we go ahead and we type in WSL-install. It'll go through the process. Once it's done, we're going to go ahead and reboot the system. Okay, my system's rebooted, and it automatically brought up the Ubuntu shell. I can go ahead here and fast forward through entering in my username. I'll just put in my username, and I'll add my password, and it'll go ahead through the process. At this point, I'm going to type in uname-r. This will show me that I'm running WSL2. Next, we're going to go ahead and install Ubuntu 20.04. Click on the search, type in Ubuntu. You can choose the 20.04 and then install it. Let's go ahead and start up Ubuntu 20.04. Enter in our username and a password, and we're all set. Now, we're going to go ahead and open up the Windows terminal. And if we click on the down arrow, choose Ubuntu 20.04, which should now show up, we can confirm that we have the ability to access Ubuntu 20.04 from our Windows terminal, and we're ready for the next step, which is to install Docker. Doing a typical browser search for download Docker for Windows, you can see the Docker desktop for Windows. If you click on it, you can go ahead and click Get Docker Desktop, and it'll start the file download. Okay, so Docker is downloaded. I'm going to double click on the install file, and we'll go ahead and install Docker. I'll fast forward through this so that we don't have to deal with it. And we're done. We can close this out. We're going to have to log off and log back on. So this came up automatically, and it looks like the service terms have changed, so I'll accept the terms. And Docker is going to start using WSL2 backend. Let that start up. And we're good to go. So I'm going to go ahead and skip this tutorial. From the Docker desktop application, I'm going to click on the sprocket here, expose the daemon on port 2375. I'm also going to go to Resources and WSL Integration, and I'm going to enable the Ubuntu 2004 that we installed. And then I'm going to say Apply and Restart. Returning to our Windows Terminal app and choosing the down arrow and picking our Ubuntu 2004, we'll bring up our terminal. And when we go ahead and issue a Docker images, you'll notice that we get an error. We don't have permission. So let's just go ahead and add Docker into the sudo group for permissions so that we don't have to type in sudo and the password every single time. So from here, we're going to go ahead and type in sudo group add Docker. Already exists, so we're good to go here. And then I'm going to go sudo usermod -ag docker $user. You might be asked for a password when you type in sudo, so put in the password that you put in the previous part of this video. Closing out our terminal and restarting it again by just hitting the X and then doing another down arrow and adding your Ubuntu shell. We restarted it, and if we do a Docker images, we get successful. We don't have any images right now, but everything is in order, we're ready to go, and we can now use Docker from Ubuntu on Windows 10 using WSL2. As a final piece of this video, we're going to quickly download another version of Ubuntu, a container version of Ubuntu, and run it on our system just to show that we're able to do everything we need to do. Don't worry about the Docker commands that I enter in. Just go ahead and follow along. In the next series of videos, I'll do a Docker tutorial that can show you everything Docker. All right, so going to hub.docker.com from our browser. In the search engine that comes up, I'm not going to sign in or anything, on Docker Hub, I'm just going to type in Ubuntu, and it'll go ahead and give me a whole listing of different Ubuntus. Now, just for simplicity, I'm going to go ahead and take the docker pull Ubuntu command, and I'm just going to copy it into the clipboard by clicking on the little icon here. Then, and I'm going to paste it in by just right-clicking in my Docker 2004 window that we had previously. When I hit enter here, it's just going to use the default latest tag, which should bring down the latest Docker image. And we have our Docker image downloaded. If I hit the up arrow twice and then hit enter again, I see that I have the latest version of Docker that was created 40 hours ago. Now, let's just quickly run the container to see that it works. I'm going to do a Docker run. I'm going to remove the container when I'm done. I'm going to run it in active terminal mode. I'm going to give it a name called Ubuntu. I'm going to run the Ubuntu container, and I'm going to run bash when I run that. So when I hit enter, it'll think for a second, and up will come my container that is running Ubuntu. I exit out of the container, I'm back. If I do a docker ps with the A to show stopped and started containers, you'll see that my container has died. Again, I'll go over all of this in the next series of videos. So that concludes this video. I hope that you enjoyed it, and thank you for watching.